it out. Let's do a little thing here, then I can come back to this and finish with this list. If you asked me, what shall I do to choose? Can you give me one rule of choosing a young man or a young woman? I'll give you one. I'll look out for fruits of piety. What did I say? I didn't say look out for piety. What is piety? Anybody knows? Fruits of devotion. Don't look for devotion. Look for fruits of. And now at this point, I want you to pick. I want to run through a list, and then I'll give you a link where you're going to do a self-assessment for you. But you can also assess the person who is chasing you. Score a certain amount, pass. Are you ready? Please write this down. And I'm going to pick it from the book of Ruth really quickly. I have a good list here. Ruth and Boaz, a good book if you want to learn things on relationship. The book of Ruth is written primarily to introduce the King David, and it has very good stories. So evidence of inward devotion. Like if you were to leave all these stories, what would you choose in a young man? What would you become in a young woman? What would you choose in a young woman? What would you choose to become as a young woman? Number one, please write this down. I know it looks very usual, but look for reverence for God. You can write that as God-centeredness. Now, how I would look that is not Siku ya Sabbath. I would look for God-centeredness in his matrix of decision or her matrix of decision. How frequently God guides his decisions. How God is a part, yani is woven into him. Sio eti anakuja devotion. Apana. A life governed by awareness of God's presence. A life governed by awareness of God's authority and God's will. Does this person make decision with God in view? Is their spiritual life only private, or it governs their daily choices? Here's a good one. I'll read Ruth chapter 1 verse 16. It's a text you could know offhand. Ruth is arguing with the mother-in-law. She says, don't even convince me. Verse 16 is a text you know. She says, don't even tell me to leave you. I will not even turn back from following you. Wherever you go. Finish for me. And then, wherever you lodge, I will. Then she finishes by saying, your people are going to be my people, and what else? That's a longing desire for God to be a constant part of her life. So number one is reverence to God. Number two is consistency in spiritual life. Not occasional, but steady, disciplined communion with God, which you can see. And it's your business to look at these things early or develop them early. So you can look or develop them. Is their faith reactive, only in crisis, or it's a structured, disciplined faith? Unaweza ona Monday anakuanga na plan. Sahi nikimpigia sahi ako na devotion. See, ulikuwa unafanya nini? Yani you've talked with this guy for 2 years. There is no day you've called him, and you should call randomly. Ndio at least one day you arrive at a call, can I call you back? I was having my devotion. You're like, but don't use that to, some of you can manufacture it, ndio. Mtumishi alisema, and then sasa ukipigiwa, sorry, I'm calling you back, I was having devotion. But I'm saying, you want to catch them. There are many times I walked into the bedroom or I was calling, honey, and there is no response. Honey, no response. Ukiingia hivi, where? Can you guess what she was doing? I know some of you are guessing where I think she was praying. You understand? It should be a pattern. Let me read for you verse 8. Boaz says, Ruth chapter 1 verse 8. I want to read it out there. No, it is Ruth who says, Naomi is talking to her daughters-in-law. It says, go return each of you to our mother's house. The Lord deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead and with me. Like in a track record. We're not starting to do it today. So number 1 is what? Reverence. Number 2 is habit of devotion. Number 3 is moral purity. This is chastity, if you like, integrity. Clean in thought, clean in speech, clean in their conduct. Do they honor boundaries before marriage? Are they consistent about it? Boaz exhibits this behavior. Let's read now Ruth chapter 2, verse 8 and 9. Boaz says something that I want to challenge men about. Can I read? Boaz said to Ruth, you will listen. Where are men who can talk to ladies like this? You will? Your statement. You will? Authority. You will listen. Lakini back up inatoka wapi? If you follow the story, the guy was from Jerusalem. It means he has a devotional life. Number 2, he has some businesses running. He has a field and some servants. That's where authority comes from. A life consistently built with backup. So he says, you will do what? Listen to the next thing Boaz says. You will listen. My daughter, will you not? Do not go to glean in other fields, nor go from here, but stay close to my young women. Did you see that? First of all, by the way, don't tell someone to listen to anything you have to say if you don't have a field. Just shut up. Tengeneza field yako kwanza, sindio? Huyu jamaa kona backup. Look at the direction he says. You, I want to read it again. I know it passed your attention. It says, you will stay close to who? Kuna wasichana ukiwauliza, eti me, my friends are just men. And then there is a man here who, yeye, hana male friends. All my friends are? There's a leakage hapo. You must have a life that is clean outward. When you're not ready for deep commitments of relationship, you must know how to stay clean and away from appearance of evil. So that is not just moral purity, but it is chastity in your God. But you also have to look for this in their language. Look at chapter 3 verse 11. Can you read that? Chapter 3 verse 11. This one now is not just Boaz saying, I read it. It says, and now, my daughter, do not fear. I will do for you all that you have requested. For all the people in my town know that you are a virtuous woman. Wow. See that one should be underlined. All the people in campus. If I were you, that's a person I would look out for. Number 4, what was number 1? Reverence for God. Number 2, consistent devotion. Number 3, moral purity. Number 4, humility, which is shown in meekness and teachability. You know the story. Boaz comes and says, oh, who are you? Where did you come from? Please tomorrow come again. Ruth responds in chapter 2 verse 10 and says, why have I found favor in your eyes, since I am a foreigner? I think I like that. She's not entitled. She walks in humility. She waits to bring in value first before being elevated. This aspect of humility is important. For marriage will test ability of you being respectful, being open to correction, learning new ideas. So it means You must check in your future spouse, if it's a man cutting for you, do they honor others? And I call it unscripted humility. Unajua kuna mtu ako humble to you because anakuquote, ndio? Alafu kuna watchman. Huyu jamaa pia unaona anakomplainia watchman. Hey, watch, because that is the day you become watchman. I have a watchman usually in my car. She's a lady. Akaanga hapa kando. Tukifika kwa gate na hakuna mtu ndani, guess who opens the gate? Sini I'm driving. Watchman. There comes a date wewe utakuwa watchman. You will be the chef, you will be the one who is serving, the waiter. Umemletea tu food because the novelty of romance will have worn out. Please watch how they treat those who cannot help them. Usione huyu jamaa kwa mkind lakini kwa watchman ako very rough. Unscripted humility, that's what I call it. Let me finish this list here. I'll give you two more. This one I have to add. So number 4 is humility. Sawa. Just being willing to be taught, to learn new things. Number 5 is kindness and benevolence. If you ask me, this is a list. This is the one I would choose first. Love expressed in action. Do they seek to serve? Love is sacrificial, it's not convenient. So mnaenda mission. Do you guys go for mission? Yeah, then kuna jamaa amekaa karibu na wewe, anakukatia, anakutaka, amekukatia sana. But the other boys are out there, mwingine anabeba speakers, mwingine ananyeshewa. If I were you as a lady, I would leave this idiot. Let me tell you, mtafika kwa nyumba. Mtafika kwa nyumba. And the thing that will make the marriage sweet is if the other one was a servant. And then you'll remember the preacher and you'll be like, I thank God that I chose a servant. Siku itakuja, mtanikumbuka. Look for someone who is willing to. Hata unamobserve tu, kuna 2 apples, one is big, anapeana hiyo yake kwanza, the big one, anakuwa lao unachukua na hiyo inakuwa natural. Like they can sacrifice not just for you but for others. They can put others ahead. Are you following? Good list. Can I finish the list? Okay, my wife is happy about the list. Happy about the list. This one leads me to number 6. Self-denial and sacrifice. Can they endure discomfort? My wife has traveled many kilometers, many times. I have gone to preach somewhere for a whole week. She was at work, and on Friday, she takes the vehicle, she drives. She has gone, it is not once, just to show up and be with me. There are people who went to tunaenda huko, mimi siendi. They can endure discomfort as a principle. The journey from Garissa to here, and I complain throughout. These leaders here wanna. They have a disease called I can't stand it. You know that disease? I thought medical school, but I didn't get it, so I leave the joke. This means they can choose convenience over. They can choose their calling over convenience. That's important. Ruth says, where you go, I will go. Hata ukipelekwa kwa nyumba ndogo. Let me tell you where we started. I know some of you now look at us, we look nice, we got a lot of money. I think Deborah will tell you some of the stories. If you visit okay, where do I start? Can I start from when we were courting? I was in campus and I didn't have money. So some of you, if you looked at me then, you would have dismissed. I think I would have not made a very good husband because I was just average. Now please don't look for a man who is formed up. Can I read for you the principle? Here it is. Before I say that, you will tell me where to begin. Here's a good principle. Ladies, is this for you? Can I read for you? Here. So these ladies are following Naomi, and then Naomi asks them, verse 12. Let's read verse 12. Turn back, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. If I should say I have hope, even if I should have a husband tonight, and should bear sons. Now the principle is coming. Verse in. All ladies underline what I'm about to read. Verse 13. Would you, what's the word? Can you underline? Say it loud. Would you do what? Tarry in New King James. Would you wait? Would you wait for them until they have? That's a good one. Two things. The principle is men should be waited for to grow. Generally, they grow at around 27. Generally, as a rule of thumb. Some can grow earlier. Huyo jamaa amekukaza hapo umuulize tu ID 24. Or wait, or tell them to wait. The spiritual principle is this. Number one, science of today shows that the frontal lobe is fully developed at 28 for maximum functionality. And marriage is a decision matrix, a character matrix, and it sits on the frontal lobe. It is not emotions. So if you ask me, that can be a good rule of thumb for men, you know. But the principle is let them grow. So don't look at this man here, unaona jamaa ameparara, amekala class, alafu unamuignore. Wait, you should have seen me also. There were days I was beaten. I'm even thankful that she saw my future. Na by the way, ukiona mtu amekuja kukukatia, usimwangalie amekala class, of course, ndio. You know, generally ladies sahi wanajua kuoga, wanajua kungara, blah blah. So jamaa anakukatia, then unamwangalia from the sole of his foot from there. Alafu una shake una shake kichwa ni kama nini iko na spring ni kama your neck has spring. Unasema you me. Let me tell you, by the time someone, okay, let me start it this way. All men have self-confident issues. Ladies, repeat that after me. All men. By the time a man anakuja anaanza kukukatia, please. I'm a practice squad, but so what you need to do, first of all, and men talk. So please, first of all, anchor them. Do what Ruth did. Do you know what Ruth did? Boaz came and asked, whose daughter are you? Alafu akaanza kumuonyesha some attention, sio? Akasema, who am I? So you need to thank him first. Like me, I thank my wife for even seeing that I could become a husband. So first of all, thank them. It doesn't mean you have to get into the relationship, sio? But you also don't have to be harsh, because when someone has thought about that subject and brought it to you, that's a spiritual issue. Suppose umemkataa na Mungu amesema ni huyo. So be humble. Mwache tumshukuru tu, mwambie sahi na I'm focusing on school. You know, you have answers you can give, sio? I'm focusing on school, sijawahi fikiria, sio? Alafu unaenda tu chini, unaomba, unaambia Mungu sio huyo staki. And then ukishakata, what you must do is don't show signals that you are there. You know, in the Bible there are very good principles. Like there is one where Cain akaleta offering, alafu Abel akaleta pia nini? Offering. You know the story? The book of Genesis 4 says, and Cain was rejected and the offering. Umeelewa? And Abel was accepted. Nani ameacceptiwa kwanza? Abel. Then I wish that also worked in the relationship, where if you have rejected the offerer, also have reject the offering. Like in each generation, we take the offering, but we know nani tu ya moyo unajua. Unajua tu huyu nimesha reject. Kama una reject offering, sorry, kama una reject nini? Offer. Reject pia nini? Sio anakutumia vitu anakupea attention, you just enjoy na unajua tu inside you're not there. So I want to tell you where we started. I still remember we didn't have much. We have written a little about this in some of our books, and we carried some copies for you. It will help you. I still remember we would go out for dates. I wouldn't afford a hotel to pay bills every day. And please do things you can sustain. Usianze kupretend hapa eti sasa leo umetoa pesa and you can't sustain it. I couldn't. So mimi, I would make sandwiches in my house. I had a careful way of making sandwiches. It was a loaf of bread. I made it brown so that it is healthy. Number 2, I had put eggs inside. Eggs hiyo ningebit niweke vitu ndani taste tu vizuri. Alafu hapo nakikata nyanya na nini then there's just a way with taste. Ukiweka hivi, alafu kwa ile sandwich maker. Mimi nimebeba tunaenda Uhuru Park. These are real stories. Yeye anakuja na sheet hiyo leso. Tungekaa na tunge-enjoy and nobody felt like we missed anything. It was not like in the other generation. Today, I can tell you, it's almost a law. After every Sabbath, we go to a high-class, good hotel, and we eat unapologetically, and we don't feel the bill. Why? Because at that time, we believed in each other, tukaanza kidogo. So the principle of waiting is important. There is an age of young women today who want formed men. Those formed men are people's husbands. Nirudie kile nimesema. Please be willing to wait. Be willing to work as you wait. I should have had a man from men. Si nimewasaidia? Please, I am telling you, if you go to marriage with this mindset, oh, what are you bringing to the table? I am there. Nyinyi ndio wasomea pass. Nyinyi watu wa the table, wao wasomea pass. Hii ni verse. Judges chapter 1. Wacha nihubiria hapa at least. Judges chapter 1. Wewe kwa tu table. Unajua wewe ni table? Siku yenye furniture ya nyumba inachangiwa, you will be kicked out. There is beauty in our house now. We now own a lot of property, but all that property is shared. Nothing is totally mine, nothing is totally hers. Wewe umekuja unataka mtu ashatengeneza kila kitu wewe ndio table. Judge, mpaka judges. Wewe lazima nisome text ndio nitoke hapa. Alafu nimalize list yangu then I give you a free. This lesson I already wrote it, so hii ingine ni presentation. I'll give it to you. It's for free. I want you to use it to form your identity, because this is what we must deal with every day. The devil is forming our identity by entertainment. Did you find Judges chapter 1? The devil is forming our identity by vitu zenye ziko kwa social media, by music. And so the things we believe about marriage don't even sustain themselves in the real marriage. Did you find verse 12? Can we read 13, 14? I'm looking for Judges. Judges was just behind Ruth here. Sasa yangu chapter verse 1 chapter 1 imekataa kufika, niko chapter 7. Did you find it? Kuna maboys wawili hapo, they are just married. One is called Othniel, a good guy. He's a good guy. And another one is called Asa. Did you find them? I'm going to read this for you. Let's read it out there. So, from verse 12, Caleb said, this is helpful. So, Caleb said, he who attacks Kidron, Sefer, and takes it, to him I'll give my daughter Asa as wife. Umeona hapo wife ako karibu. So you just go to war, you get a wife. I don't know how many of you survived, but Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, took it. So he gave akona wife. Sawa? Verse 14 and following. Now it was so, when she came to him, that she urged him. So Asa anaongea na Othniel, says, go and talk to my father and ask him for a field. Okay? So it's been agreed by the two, the couple, that we're going to ask dad for a field, because that's what was promised. Well, what happened? She dismounted from her donkey, and Caleb said to her, so Caleb is talking to the daughter, ask her, what do you wish? Verse 15. Let's see. Already, jamaa alishaenda battlefield, wakapata nini? Walipata bibi, but also, okay, sawa. Jamaa alishaenda battlefield, akapata bibi. Verse 15. She said to him, nani anaongea? Aska anaongea. Anaitisha baba yake, anasema, give me a blessing. Since you have given me land in the south. Why was he given land? Because the boy fought for the land. You're following? See, that was the story. You go fight, get that land, I'll give it to you. Daughter anakuja anasema, now give me something else. She calls it a blessing in the south, and give me also a spring of water. Why? Jumali walikuwa kule south, hakukuwa na maji. Principle. While the boy is in the battlefield looking for X, the girl is out also looking for Y. I can stand here and tell you, I have tested that principle in marriage. If you just sit as a woman, eti wewe ni furniture, yeye aende atafute. Eti his money is our money, but my money, that the principle is from the bottomless pit. It is a doctrine of devils, and it is a bad idea which is ruining habits in the family, ruining desires, and is ruining destinies of homes. The Bible presents a home where, as the husband is out in the battle, the lady is also finding springs of water. Men, take this text at heart. Tafuta msichana. A few moments after, si tulikuwa tuko Uhuru Park tunakula nini yangu, tumemaliza sandwiches zangu. Nakumbuka hiyo story. She came home and learned how I make the sandwiches. The next day she borrowed the sandwich maker. Went to it to medical school. Medical school had 500 or so students. Every morning, angetengeneza, anaenda kufanya nini? Kuuza kwa class. Nikasema, this one is ready for marriage. This is ready. Nikasako, nikasema. So nikaanza kucheza kama mimi. So you know we were chasing many of us. And by the way, if you are the only one chasing that lady, please slow down. Because a good fruit has many stones under it. You can just go and check. Did you understand? So I said, mimi unakwanga peke yako, haukuangi peke yako. And when you love a woman, listen to what Boaz does in the book of Ruth. Boaz is told, take this lady. And anasema, I am not going to be the one to take it. It's a principle in the Bible called the kinsman redeemer. Boaz anasema, kuna mwingine, I will let him go first. If he doesn't take you, I will take you. Now that's a very good principle. Because in campus, these matters of relationships ruin the church. The lady is beautiful. Wewe unafikiria wewe ndio unamwona peke yako. So you need to attend certain classes. You know tactics. What did Andrew do, for example? So she had, first of all, I'll tell you what I did. First of all, she had a phone that was, it was a Nokia 3310. Some of you don't know how that looked like. But our phones earlier in life would be so old that you can reinforce it with a rubber band. So the only thing I contributed to the phone was a rubber band. Because I'm the house band. Lazima ujue kufunga hizi vitu mapema. So there was another guy, he was rich, he brought AKA iPhone something of the day to her. Okay? So she came and told me, this guy is meeting this guy. I asked where? And you don't need to be if you kuna weevils, you just may I ask where are you guys meeting? Wherever. Do you have fare? She said, no, I don't have. I actually gave her fare. So that's a trick. I'm going to tell you why I gave her the fare. So You can use these tricks, as long as they are within the Bible principles, eh? So nikampatia fare. Akaenda jamaa akachomoa the latest phone. Na mimi yangu imefungwa na sisi nilinunua, nilicontribute na rubber band kushikilia hizi, because marriage is about making things zisianguke, sio? It's not bad thing, throw away, start afresh. No. But marriage is that old phone, eh? You remember my old phone, it's spoiled. So, the principle here is this. She refused the phone. And when she came back, I again put on a second tick. I said, this is the right woman. You know why? If she took the phone, there are many problems here. Number one, if the man is someone you don't want as a woman, na ushachukua simu yake, na anapiga simu na unataka kuongea na yeye, you are under obligation kuongea na yeye because anapiga simu yake. You are secretary. So when she refused to take that phone, I say this is a very big tick. Today, there's a day I think I was in Garissa, I don't know doing what. We had a funeral at home, simu ikapotea, I don't know where. She calls me, I've lost my phone. So tafanya. Within 4 minutes, we had chomoed a new phone. Now the issue is not we started the marriage on an economic issue. But the economics are now fixed after. Do you understand? But it's easy to fix it with someone with whom you operate at the same wavelength, with the same principles. And so I took some time. Okay, the other reason why I would give her fare was number one, so that akitoka kwa hizo meetings, ningepewa mushene, ndio nijue where the other people are winning, ndio niongeze nini? Bidii, sawa? So, yeah, you need those skills, my boys. So one of the things I learned, let me tell you, one of my opponents failed woefully because I applied the principle in the book of Ruth. And by then, and read that book line by line and observe everything. That guy, Boaz, anaenda kuongelesha Ruth, na anajua kila kitu about the girl. It has been told to me, wewe ni Moabite, najua husband wako alikufa, najua ulikuja na. So one guy forgot that principle. Mimi nilikuwa nimeshaijua. So jamaa alikuwa analetaka chocolate na anapatia girl chocolate. Mimi nilifanya my research, nikajua the girl I am quoting loves flowers, not chocolates. So I would use, she loves quality time. And usually the real true things of this life are free. I am telling you. So I would use an opportunity. Tunatembea kutoka Karagara, tukienda kwao ilikuwa Karen. Can you imagine? Mimi nimetoka home, village boy. Tukitembea tu hivi, I would just take every opportunity kumplakia flower. And you would see the genuine flower smile on her face. And I would spend nothing. How much do you spend to walk a lady back home? Nothing. My boys walileta flower nini, chocolate. Mwenye alikula hizo chocolate. I swallowed the chocolate religiously. And I'm the one who finished the journey and reached the pulpit. Do you understand? Say, akili say. So, do your background check. What does that mean? If the girl has just had a breakup, that's not the right time kuanza kushoot your shot. You might be accepted as a pillow. Akimaliza kulia, ataendelea na safari. Do you understand? So do your background check. Both men and women. You need to know the cultural layouts. I saw another story in the Bible. The guy shows up. He's called Jacob. So he's a beautiful woman. Alafu anaanza kumpasu. Anaulizwa, you work for 7 years. What will your wages be? A girl. Now that's stupid. Do you know 7 years is so long? Did you know you don't have to work 2 years? Okay, just if I was in those days, I would have told Laban, hapo unachezo. Miaka ngapi? I know ladies like to look at the story like, is nonsense. 7 years is too long. I don't know how much money he made for that guy, but I don't think I think the guy was exploiting his desire for love. And that story actually shows, because you can tell the day he was now waiting for the bride, you know the story? And by the way, have you ever been a Leah in that story? I've wondered how Leah bought that story. Can you imagine living in the shadow of your sister who is cute? Alafu Biblia pia kuna language zingine, you know, saying this lady was beautiful of form and appearance. So you need form and, you know, you can be beautiful in appearance but form bado. Yeah, that's what Rachel is described like that. She was beautiful in. Yeah, that's what the Bible says. And then now you are wewe boyfriend wako anaishi na nyinyi. Do you get the joke? For 7 years. Alafu siku ya wedding, baba yako, I want to imagine, let me create a scenario. Wedding scene imekuja, wewe hakuna mtu hakuna hata mtu mwenye anakuitisha now nobody. And let me tell you, the heart of every human being is a desire to be loved, to be accepted. So don't pretend. Itiwe utaki, umekaa sura ngumu, itiwe nienda, nikawa nipatizo na majiandimu, avoid. Alafu, everyone needs to be loved. So, let's have a conversation hapa. Leah, baba yake anakuja. Just listen. I want to think. This is how she ended up agreeing. Daddy akakuja akasema, Leah, sasa si unajua this thing we've been working on, we have not seen any man, na huyu jamani ndio yuko, so niko na ka plan, Daddy, what's the plan? Sasa alikuwa analia nyuma ya nyumba, ndio juu siku ya wedding, ako like, niache tu nikae huku, what I don't want to serve. No, I have a plan for you. So Laban is used as an image, listen, of the devil who exploits our longings. Unakumbuka desire? Let's go back to that list. We say the identity comes from what? Ideas form identity. So I want you to gather as many ideas and let them be biblical ideas about marriage. And the media and songs and entertainment of today, unfortunately, a lot and most of 99% of those ideas are trash and they come from the bottom of the spirit. Depend on the word of God. You will get true ideas. The ideas will form you as a man. If, for example, if I know that my body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, that's my idea about, so my identity is changed. What was number 2? Number 3 here was what? I will desire wholesome food. Do you see how that is produced from ideas? I mean from identity. There's a study that was done in a campus environment like this, where people are being watched, na kulikuwa na sessions, places with green grass and places where you are told, don't step on the grass. So wakatoa hizo signs. So one day they were told, don't dress up officially, just dress down, casual, sport, whatever, because they came for a short kama Kenya School of Government. So they were doing their study, and another day they were told, now dress up fully. Today we're going to do the inauguration. They dress up full. They were checking only one thing. As the people were walking around campus, they checked at the rate at which they stepped on the grass. They found out that the day people dressed themselves so well, the rate of stepping on the grass was way lower than the day walijiachilia. They concluded, human beings govern themselves based on their identity. Ukijiona wewe ni mtu honorable, you won't be around sleeping around. There's just a way you will govern yourself. But the question is, how do you gather that identity? You gather it from the ideas you pick about life. So today, if you ask me, go around the internet and you will find 99%, even our songs, some of them are cheap songs, unplanned, disorderly. They shape our ideas. Ukikuja hapa kuimba haujui key ya song, wewe unaimba tu. That idea about singing governs your identity. You'll be careless, even the way you look, you understand? And then the desires that you're going to create spring from that idea. Those desires repeated is what forms your character and your activities and your destiny. I think I can leave it there. Did I finish my list? If you see the story of Leah, it is the devil exploiting the whole or the longing that is in every heart. Alafu yeye akakubali akaingia kwa hiyo bed. Now some of you don't read the story beyond that. Can you imagine asubuhi? I think that day she didn't sleep. I'll just tell you the truth. Leah didn't sleep. Ni ukweli. So let's wake up at 5 o'clock. So anajua ameamka on somebody's bed. This was my younger sister's bed. But culture inamsupport. So anasema, in any case ishafanyika. Sasa atanipenda, sio? That's what you think? Huh? Amtaki story. Sasa atanipenda, si ishafanyika? That's what you think? Wait for the guy waking up. The guy wakes up kuangalia bride yake. I like to dramatize it because we clearly describe Leah alikuwa na sura ngumu. I don't know how to describe that. But can you imagine now, this is now, because you have been defiled, this is now your husband. For another 7 years, na wewe unapika. Anamkanga asubuhi, anaenda kupasiwa yule. That must have been hard. You read in chapter 33 the way they are fighting over children. This story has been repeated in the Bible, not just with Leah. There is another woman called Penina. Some of you look at Penina and say, but it was very hard to be Penina. Can you imagine being in a home where unajua umeletwa hapa juu ya mtoto na upendwi? Jamaa anapenda yule. I am telling you, in the heart of every human being, there is a desire for love. It is our identity. You cannot change it. What I came to zitajiproduce. What I've come to ask you today, find out what is God's will. What is His idea about human love? Did I say that clearly? That's what I rose to come and say. And I've given you some checklists you can do. Uzuri, if I don't finish this, I prepared this in a PDF. It is more extensive. There are tests you're going to do. Maybe I can just run through so that some of you who are thinking of not looking for the PDF can know that you need it. In this PDF, I have talked about how the destiny is formed from ideas. It starts from you doing a test, whether you are drifting, distracted, or driven by impulse. This is both on entertainment and relationships. So, given the story there of Brian and Aisha, at night, wako kwa simu, seeking validation, wako Instagram, earphones, but at the end of the day, I've given 6 or 7 questions, which kama umejibu tu a tick on one of them, then you need this guide. Number 1, you pick your phone before your feet touches the ground. Ukiamka asubuhi, you need this guide. Number 2, you know what you should do, but you don't do it. Can I see that person here? You need this guide. Number 3, you have goals, you keep restarting. You need this guide. You feel lonely even in a crowd. You're in a relationship pattern you can't explain. You consume content that leaves you feeling worse. And then the last reason why I wrote this is something inside you feels buried. Your potential or your destiny is being grounded. So the reason I came up with this guide is so that you can reshape identity. You reshape your ideas. For ideas, shape identity. The rest of things come out from that. I want to take some. I know you got some. Did you send some questions? Can we get some? I'm done with that segment. I think I'll come back later. That was a lot of stuff to say, right? Yeah. Did you get a question? Or I'll let you let's take a break. But before the break, let's see. Maybe you want to say. Some people will be good with just. If you wrote it, she's coming up here to help me answer 1 or 2 questions, but she will also say 1 or 2 things on this subject from Lily's point of view. She is somebody that you should pay attention to. One thing you'd add?
Okay. As we wait for your questions, I have maybe a few things to add, and I choose to title it, "There are certain ideas that cripple marriage today," and I'll go through a list of a few beliefs or ideas that make people fail in relationships. One of them, some people will say, love is enough. What do you think? Is love enough? Well, everybody who got a divorce or has gotten a divorce was once in love, which tells you that love alone is not enough. You need knowledge, you need skills, you need money. You know, you can't go and dance in front of a supermarket and say, "Oh, Andrew and I really love each other, just give us food." They won't give you, right? So there are so many other things that are needed for a relationship to work that you cannot simply say love is enough. Then others are fighting, they're abusing each other, and then you hear them saying, marriage will fix our problems. I think we just need to get married. Well, marriage doesn't fix problems, it actually amplifies them. And so if you're having problems now, if he's beating you now, what do you think he'll do when you get married? He'll kill you. So marriage does not fix those problems. Then, now this one is widespread, where somebody thinks that there's only one person in the world for me. You've been dating this person since first year, now they've broken up with you, you're not going to class, you're not showering, you're looking like the world is ending the next minute, because you think that there's only one. The world is big, and thank God he gave you options. We like this principle that when you're choosing, do what Abraham said with Lot. Abraham didn't even rush to pick land. He simply asked, Lot, come here. Is not the whole world before you? So don't say that I've been to North Coast, I've not found anyone, it's 4 years, it's ending, I've been to Mombasa. My friend, travel. There are a lot of people in this world. And
walikuwa kwa higher ground. Kwanga mahali unaweza make that decision on higher ground. Do you understand? Higher ground first, even spiritual, even economically. Higher ground. Angalia vizuri. Make lowland.
Yeah, that don't just fix your mind that it is so and so and I can't have anyone else. Where there is freedom, you get to appreciate marriage more. He had an option of many other girls, isn't it? But he chose me, and I chose him not because the men were over. It's a choice. You know, it wouldn't be a choice if there is nothing to pick from. So don't kill yourself that she left you or he left you. And I've seen so many. You know, quite recently a patient comes in and this was an attempted suicide. And so I asked him, what's wrong? My girlfriend left me. You know, I felt like laughing, but now you have to be serious. You're a doctor. You're like, oh, I'm so sorry. But I'm like, surely, what's wrong with your brain? Was that the only girl? Have you seen others? Must it be just that one? Then others say spiritual compatibility is enough, or as long as we are Christians, we don't need to check other things. It's a lie. You know, some of you will say, but I chose an Adventist. How come my marriage is not working? It's because you failed to examine this person on other things that are necessary for marriage to work. The last one, which I think he addressed, that a man must be figured out before marriage. Rarely. You know, the reason why, and this is for men too. You know, one time a gentleman comes to me and I'm asking him, why there's so many other beautiful ladies around, and he says, you know, this one does not talk the way you do. I'm like, you should have met me. When did we meet? 17 years ago? Yeah, you should have met me 17 years ago before I met him. And I was not speaking like this. It has taken time and effort. There are things that he has done to ensure that I grow as a woman. He never leaves me at home. If he's doing a course, he'll probably push me to do the course. If he's reading a book, he'll probably push it my direction and say, this one you must read, and he will irritate me, play it on the road until I get it. So it's taken joint effort for us to grow one another. That if you're looking for a ready-made person, they don't exist. They're already married. They're not there. So pick your raw material and make your person. Please.
That's a sound bite. Pick your raw material. Let's take some questions here. That was wise, isn't it? I work with wise people. You see, confirm. You see, you need to have a wife that you can just be comfortable akikuja kuongea. Yuko tu sure ataongea sense, sio? Sio anaweza kuchoma, hawezi choma. So, let's questions. Or we take a break. We have another session, right? Let us guide us. We prepared for you two more things. We traveled, all the speakers came from very far that you guys just need to have creative ways of increasing your bandwidth so that you get all from these guys, right? Yeah, so I'm glad you guys are staying over into the evening, but we don't want to get you tired, so let's take a little, but we don't want to force Q&A. I have a lot to say. If you don't have any question or answer, I can make good use of that time. Okay, we'll give you 5 minutes. You need to know that there was a Q&A coming. Can we sing a song? Yeah, we can sing a song, get us a song. As you can also ask for a friend. Elder, you let me know where to send this free PDF. No, not Elder. I want you to take personal responsibility, especially if you're a leader of a campus. Come for it yourself and circulate it. You will thank me that you came across this material. This is where, I don't know, any of you have read our books? Can I see? Yeah, some hands there. You know they are well curated when written than when spoken. So the written version is usually much better. After you know I have to keep your attention and add a little jokes in between, but any content in a flow, pick it. If you're a leader of any group, take it for your own growth, for your own children, for your own friends.